Here's the mama duck and her babies. She's gonna go hide them. Since we moved them, she's been keeping them a little closer. And how we moved them was we put the babies in a box, and I held the mama and had her looking inside the box the whole way over here. So I took them out of that other building, the one that had the scratch marks on it, because I don't know what was scratching. This pin here seems to be pretty sturdy. I haven't lost anything out of this pin, so I thought maybe they might even be more safe, or just as safe in here. They can run into that building and hide. This is where I had the goose that was hurt. I cleaned it all out, put new bedding inside the building so that they'd have clean bedding. But you can see how big these babies are getting. Let me get out there in the light. You can see how big they've gotten. Mama is still talking to them. And they're talking to Mom. That's kind of a warning sign to me. The deep, quick quack, that's a warning sign to me. Not to bother her babies. So the little quacks like that there, those are to tell the babies that they're okay, Mom's here. So she's talking to them. See how she opens her mouth towards me? Now that's a warning. It's a warning sign. Don't touch my babies again. But we won't have to move these guys again until they're old enough to go out. And that will probably be around February, March. Now this is the end of September. So they'll be pretty good size. They'll be almost as big as Mom by then. Because this is September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, they'll be 5, almost 6 months old. So they'll be about the size of Mom. So when they get that big, they'll all come out. And they'll be over there in the other pen with the rest of the ducks. Of course, once again, slow introduction of all the new ones and Mom, because they don't have a very long memory. Like the goose. They were mean to her because they hadn't seen her for, I think it was a couple of months, or a month and a half anyway. And so, yeah, they decided she was not friend, she was foe. So the duck and her babies will all also have to be introduced slowly. I'll have to let them out. And first I'll probably try and encourage the ducks to come over here to visit with her through the fence, so the babies and her would be safe during, And then once they get big enough, I will let them out, and then at night I will have to herd them back into here. It doesn't take long for ducks or geese to realize that this is their home. Like the goose, once we let her out, we would herd her back in here. And she kind of resisted a little bit, but she finally understood where she was going, and she came back here. So now you can see that some of these are Rowans, the ones that have the white on their necks. And so they're not all her eggs. She is a Rowan. I'm sorry, the ones with the white on their necks are Swedish Blues. The solid brown one back there, I'm pretty sure that's probably her egg. And I think there's a solid dark one back there, and I think that's one of her eggs. But not all these babies are her eggs. Now, they could be all her eggs, and they're half Swedish Blue and half Rowan. So, yeah. Sorry, I kind of wasn't paying attention there. I got the camera a little far up. Sorry. Now they're all calming down because they're getting used to me being here. But yep, they're getting big. They're growing. I think they're, what, 2 weeks old? 2 or 3 weeks old now? I think they're 2 weeks old. Maybe they're... Are they 2 weeks old? Maybe. I'll have to look. I need to start marking this stuff down on the calendar when these babies are hatched. Because, now I didn't hatch these. Mama hatched these. These are her own hatchings. So, she just came up one day and she'd been coming out. I mean, when I would see her out of the pen, so I thought she was just flying out, and so, but when it was time to put everybody away, she was never there. And I really, tell you the truth, I didn't even notice her missing, but I did notice 2 ducks are missing, and they went missing at the same time. And that was the Buff Orpington ducks, the 2 drakes. They just one day they just up and disappeared. And I have no clue what happened to them. They were there that morning, and that evening when I went to put them away, they were gone. I have no idea. I was outside most of the day. I saw no predators. I didn't hear anybody yelling and screaming like there were predators. And so what happened to them, I don't know. I made a video about a skinwalker several months ago. And sometimes I almost think we have one here. And because the way things just up and disappear. And the claw marks on the door. So I don't know. I believe in God, and He is my creator. He is a creator of all. I trust in Him. I have huge amounts of faith in Him. He healed that duck, that goose, and He was the one that healed it. Just because I gave her medications and stuff doesn't mean I healed her. It means God healed her. So, I really don't believe in skinwalkers. I'm sorry. It is an old myth, and I know that a lot of the natives believed in it. They believe in Sasquatch, and people keep saying they see them. I worked in the woods. I logged for several years. I've hunted the woods. When I went deer hunting and bear hunting, I hunted the woods, and I never saw a Sasquatch. So, I'm not saying they're not real. They can be. I'm not saying they're not, and I'm not saying they are. But if God created them, or maybe even Satan might have created them. I know God talks about, they talk about the flies and stuff, and disease, which the devil created. The devil created flies and death. It's not God that kills. It's not God that causes pain. He doesn't want anybody to suffer. When a child is being born into this world, yes, mom goes into excruciating pain to have that child. But if you look at that child when it's born, the skull is so soft that it forms to almost a peak as that child is running through the canal. So that child is going also through some hellacious pain. huge amount of pain beyond probably comprehension. We don't know. We're not the ones. We went through it, but we have no memory of it. But, and the ducks, when they're born, when they're hatched out, they have to fight themselves out of the shell. That's their survival. That's what survival is. If they can survive getting out of the shell, which probably is very painful for them, because they have to peck their way out. They only have a small pocket of air, so they have to peck their way out through that air pocket to get more air, and then keep pecking out until they break the shell open. So everything goes through birth, and it's part of life. It's part of the pain is part of life. A lot of people don't understand why they think why God causes pain. It's really not God, it's the devil. And we have to pray very hard to keep the devil away. But anyway, I see the babies and all have gotten the water dirty once again. And they still have plenty of food, and make sure that they have a big thing of food. And like I said, they have fresh bedding inside the building. And they're all sitting down. I brought them out here mainly because they needed the sunlight. They weren't getting enough sunlight in that building because the sun's there in the morning and in the afternoon it's gone. And I do have to change this tarp because it's got big holes in it. So when the rain and snow comes, I need to have this covered so they don't get wet. Yes, they can go in the building. The building is not a perfect type, but it works for shelter enough to keep them warm. Anyway, please subscribe, push the notification bell, and we'll catch you on the flip side.